Arlong Park is arguably the best arc in the East Blue Saga. This is the arc that made me like One Piece and caused me to eventually get all this. So there's a lot of spectacular moments in this arc. You got Usopp's death scene, Zoro being held up by Arlong, Mushu, Sanji saving Luffy, Nami crying, this panel, Usopp's fight. I really like this gag with the teeth. Luffy saying that he needs his crew is amazing. Oh, and of course, Luffy breaks Arlong's nose. That shit is fucking cool. Now look, my last video on the series was the most controversial video I have ever made. Let's do that again. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the live action in general. I think they did a really good job with the whole thing. It's super good. And they actually have a season 2 confirmed to be coming, which is sick. Focusing in on the Arlong Park arc though, I will say they changed a lot of things, and I don't particularly think that the things that they changed were better than what was already there in the source material. Usually with changes, I would just hope that some of the ideas that they have would, I don't know, make me kind of excited. Like for example, in episode 5, when they had Mihawk's awesome introduction and him fighting Don Krieg, which allowed for us to just skip over the Don Krieg fight and have Arlong come in. I thought that was a really good idea, and we just didn't have anything as exciting in the Arlong Park section. That's not to say the section is bad, but yeah, that's just what I thought. I will say though, we did get a lot of scenes with the fishmen, and I kind of just liked seeing them walking around and just doing their thing. I thought the costume designs for the fishmen were really good, especially this one. I was just looking through the manga and wow, he looks just like his manga counterpart. They did a great job. I was really bummed though that we didn't get to see Hachi. I think that makes sense because honestly, how are you gonna do a live action Hachi like as good as these guys? But it's okay. We don't need Hachi. I think the Nami crying scene was nicely done. It made me a little bit emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know if this part in the story was going to stick the landing like how it does in the manga, but I think honestly it wasn't that bad. And they also did this panel, like they recreated this panel, which is just so cool. The fight in general was just very different from how they did it in the original source material, which is fine. So I really liked a lot of it with Sanji and Zoro just running around and cutting up and kicking people. That was pretty cool. I really like Sanji's fight and Usopp's fight. It's just a shame that since we don't have Hachi, Zoro didn't really shine as much. I also really wanted the scene where Arlong gets to see Zoro's scars. We didn't get that, but that's okay. That's okay. Luffy versus Arlong though, I think is honestly kind of the most underwhelming of the 3 fights that we did get to see, only because Luffy just doesn't feel as strong in the live action, which I understand because budgeting and animating him, but I don't know, the fight is just so fun and exciting in the manga, and in the live action, Luffy just got his ass kicked by Arlong. So honestly, going into this, I was just kind of like, how are you going to win? I feel like Luffy is a lot more clever in the live action. Instead of actually fighting Arlong, which, I mean, he does, he instead destroys Arlong Park so that it falls on top of Arlong, which I know he does in the original source material, but it seemed like he was mainly focusing on that to be able to defeat Arlong, which, I don't know, I think it was cool. I think it was a cool way in getting around the fact of constantly animating him and trying to make it fight, and, you know, it worked. Did he break his nose though? I don't know. I don't think he did, and that's just one of the coolest moments of the entire ending scene of that entire fight. The arc as a whole felt really short to me for whatever reason. I don't know why. It just started and then it ended. Maybe I was just so into it to the point where it felt super fast to me. I don't really know, but I just felt like we didn't spend a lot of time in Arlong Park. At least not as much as I thought we would. At the end, we had Garp versus Luffy, which was interesting. It caps off Garp's arc of accepting that Luffy just wants to be a pirate, which is cool. And then we get to see all of our Straw Hats do the little dream sequence. I hope that means that they're not gonna skip Logtown, because I really like that arc, and I hope they just don't skip it for season 2. I hope it's in there. Speaking of Logtown, we have Smoker being introduced. Like, he's being teased for season 2. So I actually don't think they're going to skip Logtown. I feel like it just doesn't make any sense. Also, Buggy and Alvida got teased to be teaming up. So I feel like, now I really feel like it doesn't make sense for them to skip Logtown. I know this is a really short review of these final 2 episodes, but honestly, man, I just want to tell you that I liked it. That's kind of it. Okay, that's it. I don't know.